Hi everyone, welcome to Slice of Life. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian at the Twin Lakes Library System and I use they, them pronouns. So I've been doing a series about the manga series in our library collection, but I'm taking a brief break from that and instead I'm going to be telling you about some graphic novels in our collection. So February is Black History Month and I wanted to highlight the graphic novels that we have that focus on like the main characters being black, and some of them, not all of them, are created by like black artists, black writers. Not all of them, but like most of them. So anyways, they're really good. There's a lot to get through, so I'm not gonna go as in depth as I have been with the manga. Just kind of give you a brief run through. But we're going to start off with March. This is book one. It is a trilogy of graphic novels about the life of John Lewis, who sadly passed away last year, but he was a congressman and just hugely influential in the civil rights movement. This one, I just read it today. It was phenomenal. I can't wait to read the next two books. It tells a story of like his childhood growing up and how he got involved with the civil rights movement, meeting like all the key figures in that movement, like Martin Luther King Jr. And this one kind of goes up to like the early 50s and his involvement with like sit-ins in Nashville. So it's just fascinating, you know, really important and just really inspiring at the same time too. It's just really good. Can't say enough about it. The art is really interesting. This one, by the way, is in black and white. So check these out from our library. The next one is a standalone graphic novel. I Am Alfonso Jones. This one I read last year, so it's new to our collection, and it deals with like a young man who is shot by the police in a mall. Like he's shopping with his friends, and the police kill him, and so this is kind of dealing with like protests that arise after his death. And so he's a ghost, and he's kind of like observing everything that's going on, but he's also meeting ghosts of other people who are killed by the police in his city and learning. So like you're learning their stories as you go through it. And I believe that the people, like the ghosts he meets, yeah, they were real life people. And so at the very end of the story, they give you a little bit of biography about them. So again, this was just like a really powerful, really timely graphic novel. Also done in black and white. So standalone, very good. So kind of taking a departure from the realistic, we have Motor Crush. There are currently 2 volumes. There's like a 3rd volume in the works. And this is like one of my favorite series. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like sci-fi. I can't remember if it's futuristic, but there are motorcycle, like people all racing motorcycles. There's like some kind of strange power that's going on. It's been a minute since I've read this, but I feel like there's something weird going on with the motorcycles, and you find out more about it. But I love the story, but what I love is just like the characters and the art. I love these colors. I love how they draw people. I think the motorcycle racing is really cool, and just some of the other stuff going on. Like, sorry, I just really think it's pretty cool. And there's also like LGBTQ rep in this, which I love. And yeah, our main character is just so cool. She's the coolest. This is like different outfits that she's wearing. So highly recommend. And yeah, this one is rated for teens plus, which I guess means older teens. The other ones I just talked about are for teens. Then we've got, this one is also a new book to our collection, The Black Mage. And this is kind of, I can't remember if it's supposed to be satire. Like, I took English, but now I'm like second guessing myself. But the main character gets like a scholarship to go study magic at this like elite magic school that is like, you know, you get there and you find out it's basically like an all-white school, and they do have like a few scholarships to bring in like black students, but there is something really wrong with this school. And okay, I'm just gonna tell you, basically it's run by white supremacists, and so yes, there's bad things afoot at this school. But anyways, the main character is kind of like slowly uncovering this mystery with the help of his friend. You've got like, I think you meet the ghost of like Frederick Douglass and like Harriet Tubman, and they also help him. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. It's got a good message. So yeah, The Black Mage. Okay, now we are segueing into DC and Marvel superhero titles. And we've got You Brought Me the Ocean. This is a DC title. It's by Alex Sanchez, who is like one of the classic LGBTQ YA authors, and he is writing this story set in like the DC world. So like, I am gonna go ahead and say up front that I don't read really any mainstream superhero graphic novels, just because it's there's too much going on, there's too many storylines, too many story arcs, and I'm just like, my life is too short. But you know, if you like that sort of thing, go for it. So you know, if you read DC, you know these people much better than I do. But you don't have to read DC to read this one, which is a standalone, and I appreciated that. I could just go with the story, and but as it goes on, like if you've seen the movie Aquaman, you'll recognize like a character who shows up in here. Does Aquaman show up in here? I don't know. I read this, I think this past summer, so it's been a while. But it's about Jake, our main character. He is kind of like, I think he's never learned to swim. He lives in the desert. He's been told like not to swim, but his like body reacts like magically to water. This like he's like got glowing places on his body when he gets in the water, which is cool. There's reasons for that. But anyways, this is like this story of him meeting Kenny, who's on the swim team, and them getting to be close friends, and then more than friends. And you know, so that's going on as he's kind of realizing like, hey, I don't think I'm a normal person. Why is my body glowing in the water? And so on and so forth. So it's really cool. Like, here's a good example of him being like, I'm using water powers. So yeah, this one I also like the art because it's you know, mostly black and white, but with like blue kind of in there, and it's pretty. So, you know, sweet LGBTQ story with some strange superhero power stuff going on in it. Alright, now getting into some more, getting into the Marvel, we've got Black Panther. So, like I said, I don't really read mainstream graphic novels. I tried reading this one, and I think I needed to have read some other series ahead of this because I was like, I am pretty lost right now. I think there's like actually a guide that tells you like, hey, read this first, because I was like, I don't know. I've seen the Black Panther movie and I love it. It's like one of my favorite Marvel movies, but I just need to jump in somewhere else besides this one. But we do have like a ton of Black Panther graphic novels in the collection. We have a lot by this author here. So yeah, if you just go to the catalog, look it up, you can see the titles that we have, and maybe do like a little bit of research and figure out like where's a good starting place for reading this. But anyways, I did like it. I enjoyed like the art. I thought the art was great. Seeing Wakanda was really cool, and I love like the costume designs in this and all that. So yeah, if you like the Black Panther movies, check out the graphic novel. Related to that, we have Shuri. So this one is just like 2 volumes. We've got this one and another one. Have not read this one either. This one looks, I think they're both for teens. This one might be a little bit more teen focused. And I will say that, so we have the graphic novel, Shuri. Nick Stone is writing like a novel series, and we have the first one in our collection as well about Shuri. It's geared a little bit more towards like middle grades, but you know what? If you're a fan, I'm sure you will enjoy it. Okay, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. There are 4 volumes in this series. There's more Miles Morales content out there. Like we have another like standalone volume that is part of like the Into the Spider-Verse story, which Into the Spider-Verse is like, it is my favorite Marvel movie. We'll just say that. It's my favorite Marvel movie. One of the best animated movies. It's so good. And so I was really excited to kind of pick this up and, revisit the characters. So I did read this one. And it was really good. There's like so much happening, but you get to know more about like Miles and his family and his school friends. So if you enjoy Spider-Man, definitely check this one out. And I don't feel like I really explained very much about Black Panther or Shuri or Spider-Man because I'm like, where would I even begin? Honestly, I feel like they're just kind of, everyone knows about them, hopefully, at this point with all the Marvel movies and shows out there. And then my final one is more, it's like a little bit more middle grades, like kind of an all ages type of series. It's Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaurs. I read this one last night. And so our main character is Lunella. Sorry, just struggling. Lunella. And she is, I think, 9 years old. She's young. And she's like a scientist. She loves science. She loves inventing things. But she is like kind of on a timeline. There are these, oh my gosh. This has something to do with the Kree, which if you watched, gosh, what is that movie? Miss Marvel? No. I can't remember now. Anyways, one of the Marvel movies was about the Kree. So this kind of has to do with that. And anyway, she has like this, I think, Kree genetics like in her body. And if she comes into contact with this like cloud that's like circling New York, it's gonna trigger like this transformation in her. So she's like really anxious to like stop that. So she ends up finding this like piece of Kree technology, and she's working to try and like reverse engineer it. At the same time, there's like this weird thing that happens in people from like the time of the dinosaurs get transported to New York, as well as the devil dinosaur. They like show up in her like school's recess area, and so she and the devil dinosaur like have this bond. I can't really explain it, but the dinosaur is like always looking out for her, trying to protect her. So anyways, it's kind of like more lighthearted and fun. Like I said, it's geared towards younger readers. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Runaways, just because of all the crossover with like other Marvel characters. Like at one point, the Hulk comes to the school and is like having to beat up the dinosaur. Anyways, it's fun. If you know anybody who's looking for like an all ages graphic novel to get them started, this is a good one. So yeah, those are the graphic novels I wanted to talk to you all about. And I don't know, I think this is my last Friday episode of the month, but I might do like a post or add on to this as well, and kind of highlight some like web comics you guys could read too. So by different like Black creators, which are, there's so many web comics out there. I love it. But yeah, that's it. Check those out. Get them in your hands. Read them. And I hope y'all are staying warm, and I will see you all next time. Bye.